Today I want to give some analysis to Oklahoma's 34-27 win against Texas and all that's coming up after the bumper.
Don't be cornering me. Hold up. Time. You gotta help me with that corner shit.
What's up, kid folk? It's RJ Young. I am not on a step mill. Consider hitting the like and subscribe button because I upload a video every single day. It's always OU related, college football related, sports related. We have a good time. And today, I want to talk about Oklahoma's 34-27 win against Texas in the Cotton Bowl on Saturday. Number of points that we need to knock off here, both OU and Texas related. First is, yes, this was the first top 25 matchup for Oklahoma this season, and a lot had gone into this game. Even before the season began, there were a lot of people that were saying, we are going to reserve judgment on how good Alex Grinch's defense is until we see it against Texas. We don't care what it does against Houston, what it does against an FCS team in South Dakota, what it does against a bad UCLA team, what it does against a Texas Tech team that had lost its starting quarterback and since found its way with Jet Duffy. And particularly, don't give a good darn about what it does against Kansas and Les Miles. They don't have anything. Texas is the challenge, not just because it is the rival to Oklahoma, but because it is a top 25 program whose only loss had come to an undefeated LSU team that had been remarkably efficient and had done nothing but be the number 2 offense in all of football. But Sam Ehlinger and the Texas Longhorn offense showed they could put up 530 yards of offense on the LSU defense that is stout, even if it does give up a few points. Derek Stingley's a dude. Chase On is a dude. We all know about Christian Fulton. You can keep going about Marcel Brooks and how he's emerged as a true freshman, dude that I was very high on coming out of high school. But heading into this game, what was Jalen Hurts going to do against this Texas defense that runs that junk 3-3-5, that puts a lot of emphasis on the safety play, the nickelback play, that brings blitzes from different places, when Todd Orlando is going to emphasize getting negative yardage and trying to hit you in the face and put you into places where you get baited into making throws that you don't want to make. And what is Alex Grinch's defense going to do against the first offense that is capable of taking advantage of it with its size and with a quarterback that is bigger than a lot of the dudes that are trying to tackle him? Well, first thing that we learned is that Alex Grinch and the OU defense are for real. It's the most glaring indictment of Mike Stoops that we've seen, because it's basically the same personnel that Mike Stoops had last year when Oklahoma lost this game 48-45 on a late field goal. Even though they scored 45, they still lose the game. Mike Stoops gets fired for his trouble. Alex Grinch takes over, and within 10 months has a defense that he could put out there that holds Texas to 27 points. Remember, this is a Texas team that came in averaging 41.8 points per game, 483.6 yards per game, and put up over 500 against a team that's probably going to be ranked inside the top 5 come the AP rankings for week 8, right? Because they're undefeated. That LSU team beat Florida 42-28. They're good. So to say that Alex Grinch's defense is not would be fallacy now, right? Because what we know is that defense held Texas' offense to 310 yards, sacked Sam Ehlinger 9 times, at 15 tackles for loss, was everywhere. They only had 210 yards passing. They barely got 100 yards rushing. Roschon Johnson was the best that they had, but they didn't feed him enough, right? They just kept right on rolling. Yeah, my mom's is texting me. I don't know why my mom's is up at this hour, but she's texting me. Look, I continue to say the defense played well. Neville Gallimore was awesome. Kenneth Murray Jr. is going to get drafted in the first round. He's an absolute missile out there. He was a holy terror. Delarian Turner-Yell had 10 tackles. That's the worst defender on the field for Oklahoma, all right? That dude set the tone coming out, eating, making tackles, okay? Buki did not get taken advantage of. The size that Texas had on the outside did not matter. Devin Duvernay in the slot did not matter. Jake Smith in the slot did not matter. Ehlinger, he's a hard dude, man. He's a tough dude, earning the hard in the G, but he was put down time and time again, and it felt like Alex Grinch knew what what Tim Beck and Tom Herman wanted to do before they did it, and that was the key. The next thing is that the offense played particularly poorly, all right? It didn't play well. And to say that it didn't play well is really say Jalen Hurts didn't play well, okay? Because it was very clear that Lincoln Riley saw something in CeeDee Lamb that he could use to exploit the entire Texas secondary. He had him in the slot. He had him outside. He's running him on jet sweeps. And Jalen Hurts was finding with the rock. 10 catches, 171 yards, 3 TDs for CeeDee Lamb, who is going to also be drafted in the first round. He is fast becoming one of the best wide receivers, if not already the best wide receiver in the country. Tylan Wallace is still there. Jerry Jeudy is still there. Devontae Smith has been coming on. There's lots of other folks that we could put into this conversation right now, but with the performance that he had against Texas, number 11 team in the country, primetime television, you have to think of CeeDee Lamb as vaulting into the conversation of being one of the best, if not the best, wide receiver in all of college football. Jalen Hurts, 2 turnovers, put the ball on the ground, threw the ball to the other team, particularly in the red zone when he should have thrown it away when he was next to the sideline. He's not going through his progressions. He's pulling the ball down against the blitz and he's running, and it's working for him because he's Jalen Hurts. My fear there is that when Oklahoma gets to play against better football teams, which would only happen in the college football playoff, where they can counter your defense with defense, where they can counter your rushing attack with their rushing attack. When you need your quarterback to be better than their quarterback, can Jalen Hurts do that? Right? Because we know that he got benched for Tua Tagovailoa because Tua Tagovailoa is a better quarterback because he can read it. He can see it. Jalen Hurts still needs to progress. He still needs to learn to go through his progressions against the blitz instead of pulling it down just trying to run. That said, the man did have a Houdini trick where he pulled it behind his back. He rolled to his right. He found CeeDee Lamb open in the middle of the field. Stupid play. Only he could have made it. It was outstanding to watch in person. It's one of the coolest parts of being at the Cotton Bowl was getting the atmosphere, getting the energy, getting the hate. You'll know that both teams, every player on both teams was issued an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty 30 minutes before the game started, which was phenomenal. It's awesome. Referee was Mike Diffie, and I could care less about what Mike Diffie thinks about football. This rivalry is real. These players, they do have some animosity toward one another. It was a lot of fun to watch, and it came out in waves on the field. Oklahoma's was real. Texas got beat up. Texas got sunned. That's how this works, man. At halftime, it was 10-3, right? But I learned that Dicker, the kicker, ice in his veins, right? That dude had 3 consecutive timeouts where Lincoln Riley tried to ice him, just trolling him. It was awesome. Still net a 48-yarder with 6 seconds left in the half to give Texas its first points of the game. Texas scored 3 points in the first half, 24 in the second. Oklahoma scored 10 points in the first half, 17 in the second, right? A lot of this we could take back to turnovers because Texas did not turn the ball over. Oklahoma turned it over twice. Usually the team that wins the turnover battle, turns it over the fewest times, wins the game. Not so. We also learned that Kennedy Brooks is still a walking first down. 10 carries for 105 yards. It was actually getting kind of frustrating that Lincoln Riley just wouldn't use these running backs more often. And we didn't see Trey Sermon carry the ball at all in this game. It was just Brooks, a little bit of Pledger, a little bit of Ramondre Stevenson, a lot of Jalen Hurts, right? When you're talking about completions, Jalen Hurts only completed 16 passes. 10 of them were CeeDee Lamb. Offense was trash. Lincoln Riley's play calling was not good. He was getting gimmicky. He was getting cute. When he decided to actually just hunker down and run the ball, they got results. But to know that you could have a defense that could pick you up against a top 25 team like Texas and that the offense doesn't have to play lights out every game is a new feeling for Oklahoma. It's just not something that you get to say at this place. Over the last couple of years, it's been the offense bailing out the defense. Against Texas, it's on Saturday. It was about the defense bailing out the offense repeatedly, right? And that was so much more fun to watch. I understand why folks build up the defense, but I also learned Oklahoma has a national championship caliber football team today. How did I know that? Because national championship caliber football teams run the ball and play defense. That's what they do. They can always run the ball, and they can always play outstanding defense. And you saw them run the ball for 270-plus yards. You saw them stop Texas from moving the ball. I mean, think about this. Oklahoma nearly rushed for as many yards as Texas had total yards. Think about that. Also throw in there that Jalen Hurts didn't play very well. 235, had 3 TDs, all to CeeDee Lamb in the pick, right? 2 turnovers. Throw in there that you got outstanding play from dudes that you don't usually get outstanding play from. That Parnell Motley and Trey Brown were able to do their parts on islands outside. that Kenneth Murray Jr. was able to close the gap, that Sam Ehlinger didn't have any time to move, that you could win those one-on-one battles, that Parker Braun was getting pushed back, that Shackelford was getting pushed back, Sam Cosmi was not the factor that I thought it would be. Hey, good on Oklahoma, right? Because I was terrified going into this game, and they said, nah, man, it's fine. We got it. Now, question is, can they hold it for the rest of the season, win the Big 12 championship, and then we'll see. All right, that is it for me. Deuces.